Brad Pitt has teamed up with producer Damien Quintard to reopen Miraval Studios on the grounds of the French villa he once shared with ex-Angelina Jolie. While speaking about rebuilding the historic recording studio after nearly 20 years, the Bullet Train actor, 58, spoke about wanting the space to have kind of open and revolving door policy, according to Billboard. Since the reopening, Red Hot Chili Peppers bassist Flea used the space to relax ahead of his band's worldwide tour, and director David Fincher edited a film there. As a French engineer, it was kind of a holy grail, Quintard, 31, who won an Emmy in 2015 for sound mixing, said of the studio. In 2021, Pitt announced his intentions to reopen the studio on his 1,200-acre estate at Chateau de Miraval, which he still owns 50% of after Jolie sold her stake to Tenute del Mondo this summer. Last week, TMZ reported that Jolie had been embarking on a smear campaign against Pitt, which has taken an extreme toll on the children and has poisoned them against their father. Their 6 children, according to sources close to Brad, are now all but estranged from Pitt. The actor has a limited unstrained relationship, because of her campaign of alienation, a source told the site. Insiders pointed out that Angelina has been alleging for 6 years that her ex got physical with at least one of their children during a 2016 altercation on board a private jet. She also claimed Pitt poured beer on her during this altercation. Pitt denied the accusations, yet Jolie has continued to pursue the issue with authorities, urging them to prosecute him, according to TMZ. An FBI investigation was conducted but did not move forward after they deemed the accusations insufficient. TMZ sources also claim an investigation was conducted by the Department of Children and Family Services, but that too was closed due to a lack of evidence. In addition, Angelina attempted to persuade a judge that Pitt was an unfit parent who should not be granted any custody of their children. Ultimately, after hearing evidence, the judge essentially shot down Jolie's abuse claims by granting the ex's 50-50 custody. She then attempted to make her private jet allegations public by filing what she believed was an anonymous Freedom of Information lawsuit against the FBI. On Tuesday, Angelina went into great detail about the private jet incident when she filed legal documents over the winery she and Pitt own, Chateau Miraval. According to insiders, Angelina's behavior indicates that all she wants is revenge against her ex. Insiders claim Angelina has won as she has allegedly poisoned their children against Pitt, with the actor having zero, if any, relationship with the kids. According to sources, the entire family is the victim. Sources also noted that Pitt has never said anything bad publicly about his ex out of respect for their children, however he is incredibly hurt by what he perceives to be a horrible attack on him. On Tuesday, Jolie filed explosive court documents as part of her long-running separation battle with Pitt, accusing her ex-husband of having choked one of their 6 children during a violent dispute on a private jet, hitting another in the face, and slamming the actress against a wall while grabbing her hair. Jolie said Pitt's behavior on the September 2016 flight from France to California left the children crying and traumatized, and left her with injuries to her back and elbow. 5 days after the flight she filed for divorce, and in September 2021 she sold her stake in the French winery she co-owned with Pitt. He sued her over the sale, and on Tuesday she countersued, blaming him for sparking the highly public mudslinging. She has gone to great lengths to try to shield their children from reliving the pain Pitt inflicted on the family that day, Jolie's lawyers write. But when Pitt filed this lawsuit seeking to reassert control over Jolie's financial life and compel her to rejoin her ex-husband as a frozen-out business partner, Pitt forced Jolie to publicly defend herself on these issues for the first time. Jolie spelled out in detail the violent altercation in September 2016, which she said led to their divorce and the current dispute over the winery. The couple, first linked up in 2005, bought the winery, Chateau Miraval, in 2008. Jolie said that, when they bought the property, their respective representatives discussed signing an agreement, setting out the terms of how the property would be split if the couple separated. But she said Pitt did not want any such agreement. Jolie's lawyers say that Pitt's financial manager wrote in an email, "Early in the process I raised the issue of a buy-sell agreement between A and B but was told by Brad it wasn't necessary for two reasonable people to have such an agreement. The idea was dropped, and the pair were married at the chateau in August 2014. In the court documents, she said she considered it an investment for their family, plus a home. Jolie accused Pitt of failing to consult her on the development of the estate and installing a fifth swimming pool at a cost of €1 million. But she said she did not object at the time. Jolie had always taken an active role in design for any home she had lived in, and those she has since lived in, and when she and Pitt purchased the chateau, initially expected to do the same for their new home, her lawyers write. But Pitt pushed for creative control consistent with his own taste and vision. While Jolie would have preferred a more collaborative approach, she acquiesced to Pitt's desire to take control over the project, although she sometimes questioned why, for example, the chateau needed a fifth pool at the cost of €1 million, or why the same staircase needed to be rebuilt 4 times. If Jolie ever questioned such expenditures, Pitt defended them as critical to his vision for the chateau. Jolie said that the marriage came to an end on the September 14, 2016, flight. Throughout the long, overnight flight, Pitt was physically and emotionally abusive to Jolie and their children, who were then between the ages of 8 and 15, the court documents claim. After that flight, for her family's well-being, Jolie decided to file for divorce. She said that Pitt had a confrontation with one of the children before arriving at the airport, and when Jolie asked him on the plane what was wrong, he accused her of being too deferential to the children and verbally attacked her. Jolie alleges that Pitt, 90 minutes later, sought Jolie out and reprimanded her for her actions. He pulled her into the bathroom and began yelling at her, the court documents state. Pitt grabbed Jolie by the head and shook her, and then grabbed her shoulders and shook her again before pushing her into the bathroom wall. Pitt then punched the ceiling of the plane numerous times, prompting Jolie to leave the bathroom. As she exited, one of their children asked, "Are you okay, Mommy?" Pitt yelled back, "No, Mommy's not okay," and started deriding Jolie with insults. Jolie claims that when one of the children spoke up in her defense, Pitt lunged at the child, and Jolie grabbed him to stop him. To get Jolie off his back, Pitt threw himself backwards into the airplane's seats, injuring Jolie's back and elbow. The children rushed in and all bravely tried to protect each other. Before it was over, Pitt choked one of the children and struck another in the face. Some of the children pleaded with Pitt to stop. They were all frightened. Many were crying. For the rest of the flight, to avoid Pitt's wrath, Jolie and the children sat still and silent under blankets. The lawyers write, nobody dared to go to the bathroom. Pitt periodically emerged from the back of the plane to yell and swear at them. At one point, he poured beer on Jolie, at another, he poured beer and red wine on the children. After many tense hours, Pitt finally fell asleep. On landing, Jolie woke him up and told him she and the children were going to a hotel instead of to their home. He shouted that nobody was getting off the plane and prevented the family from deplaning for about 20 minutes, the court documents state. After a child intervened and demanded to leave, Pitt finally relented. But once outside the plane door, Pitt again physically abused one of their children. He also grabbed and shook Jolie by the head and shoulders, causing one of the children to beg, "Don't hurt her." He let Jolie go, but then called her a B, before adding, "Fuck you, F you all." An investigation was launched, but no charges were ever filed. 7 months later, in April 2022, Jolie under the alias Jane Doe sued the FBI, seeking to know why the inquiry was dropped. Her actions were only revealed in August this year when Rolling Stone magazine obtained a copy of the FBI report. Jolie's anonymous suit alleged that she'd filed countless requests for a copy of the department's investigative file to gain a better understanding the FBI's investigation and obtaining information necessary for her children to receive medical care and trauma counseling. Jolie, in her court documents, states that their joint ownership of the winery became increasingly contentious. With Chateau Miraval now her most important asset, Jolie began to seek a more active role both in understanding the chateau and winery's various projects and in understanding and overseeing its finances, the court documents state. As disputes and complications arose in the related divorce and custody proceedings, Pitt's conduct hardened as he attempted to cement his control over the winery. She accuses Pitt of attempting to freeze her out of the business and using the revenue from the business to fund his own projects. Pitt's refusal to distribute profits alone gave him substantial leverage and control over Jolie in their ongoing disputes, she said. By 2019, Jolie was growing increasingly uncomfortable with continuing to participate in an alcohol-related business, given the impact of Pitt's acknowledged problem of alcohol abuse on their family. Resigned that Pitt would not share control of the winery or distribute any profits, concerned about participating in a business that was associated with such painful and traumatic memories for her and their children, and seeking financial independence, Jolie concluded that she needed to sell her interest in Chateau Miraval. Pitt has argued that Jolie unilaterally sold her stake to multinational drinks giant Stoli, but Jolie on Tuesday argued she offered Pitt the chance to buy her out. She said a $54.5 million deal was reached to sell her share to Pitt, but he backed out when she filed allegations of violence. In the couple's child custody case, Jolie submitted under seal, meaning no member of the public could see any portion of it except the document titled "An Offer of Proof and Authority re-Testimony Regarding Domestic Violence." This filing apparently enraged Pitt, and in response to that submission, on March 26, 2021, Pitt's team notified Jolie's team that Pitt was stepping back from the Miraval deal. She sold her stake to Stoli in September 2021 and is now seeking a judge's final approval for the sale. After failing to bully Jolie into agreeing to a non-disparagement clause in exchange for her economic freedom and security, Pitt now claims that Jolie was not authorized to sell her interest in Chateau Miraval and is asking the court to unwind the sale, Jolie's lawyers write. Again, Pitt's entire case against Jolie is premised largely on his supposed unwritten, unspoken agreement to always give the other a consent or veto right over any sale of the other's interest in the chateau and winery, no matter the circumstances and no matter whether they even remained a couple. But the first time Jolie ever heard of this supposed consent right was when she was alerted to press reports that Pitt had sued her, and later read Pitt's complaint. The court documents conclude, Jolie requests that the court declare that no such agreement exists and that Jolie's sale of Nouvelle Tistoli's subsidiary is final. With these declarations, Jolie can finally have what she thought she had when she sold Nouvelle Tistoli in 2021, to move on from the winery and chateau, to have financial independence from her ex-husband, and to finally have some form of peace and closure to this deeply painful and traumatic chapter of her and their children's lives. A source close to Pitt told Daily Mail. She continues to rehash, revise and reimagine her description of an event that happened 6 years ago by adding completely untrue information each time she fails to get what she wants. Her story is constantly evolving. The source added, she had the chance to share this during the lengthy custody trial, which resulted in the judge granting 50-50 custody to Pitt following in-depth observations and analysis by doctors, therapists, and other experts. Her and her team go back to the same thing month after month with new and false information.